and I kind of view him as like, you know, a guy who helps me through stuff in the studio sometimes and helps me get the confidence to like really just, you know, expose myself, and not expose myself in a bad way. I think, you know, real life experience is good for people to hear because then they can relate. But the hardest part to me was I don't know, man. It kind of came pretty naturally once we had the hook set in stone. It was like it just became a storytelling. Like, you know, I wanted to kind of emulate like a Stand by Eminem kind of vibe where there's this haunting melody and this haunting female singing the hook, and then bam, it drops into these kind of hard storytelling, like really emotional verses. And I think we captured that vibe like really well, and it came pretty seamlessly after that. You know, once I have a vision of where I want the verse to go, usually it doesn't take too long. Usually my stream of consciousness will just help get it done pretty quickly. So hardest part, that was just being open, honest, vulnerable, and just, you know, really just letting myself talk about my real life experiences. Right. Not holding back.
It's funny you mentioned Stan, because you guys both do, like, I call them like alley-oops at the end of the verse, right? Where you at the end of your verses lead right into the chorus. And I love that, totally. Man. It's one of my favorite things in hip hop or just music in general, when it's that seamless. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, bro. That into that first verse, I think I said like, yeah, it's crazy how I used to be in love, and then it goes back into the hook. It's like I set her up. Yeah, I love those alley-oops.
So smooth.
That's a great phrase for that. I'm gonna start calling that alley-oops now.
Yeah. All right, a couple more questions here. What is your favorite lyric? This comes from Infinite Jacks, and they say, what is your favorite lyric from You Lie, and why? Anything come to mind?
I love the opening lyric of verse 2, where it says, "You say I lied, well you lied too. When I was on the road in Europe, you had to slide through. Won't put them on blast." But it's like I reversed like a name, and it's now the fans are all gonna go unreverse it and stuff and try and expose me probably. But to me, it was super dope because it was just like such a unique bar. I reversed the dude's name, and then I said won't put him on blast because I obviously reversed it. It's like I don't want to expose like everybody. I don't want to name drop. But I don't even know if I said the dude's real name. I might have just said like a filler name and just reversed it. So either way, that bar I love just because of the creativity. And then I love the last part of the second verse where it was the melodic part was, my other half times too, I thought you would have won. Should have never gave you. So that was like I'm like a huge like math kid. I love math so much. And I was like, my other half times 2, like 2 halves make 1. My other half times 2, I thought you were the one. And I was like, oh, that's like a cool like little math pun in the mix too. And it's on this beautiful melodic part. But yeah, man, those are 2 of my favorites. I could probably talk about every bar and why I like it.
Well, you've always, I remember I met you for the first time when I was at Billboard, and this is like
yeah, that's right.
back in the day. And you were such an M fan, and you were such an appreciator of his wordplay. And you can see that manifest now in your solo independent stuff, because you can actually like tap into that, you know, style of lyricism that may not have been pop enough or whatever they were having you do before.
No, absolutely.
So it's cool to see that flourish, you know?
Yeah, it's very. I love just the fact that I can, you know, I got a couple songs on this upcoming project where there's like some long ass verses on there. Like the You Lie ones were decently long. There's this one record called Patience. Shit, whatever. I said it. There's this one record called Patience coming out, and it's like the dopest record to me because it's about how patience can make or break an artist. And there's 2 like 64, maybe 72 bar verses, both the verses. And to me, it's almost like a blueprint about how patience can make or break an artist. And it's a kind of like a dual perspective record, and it's one of the coolest records I've ever heard or made in a while. And so, yeah, I'm stoked for the fans to hear that one. It's not going to be like a radio push because it's so hip hop. It's so like. You know, but it's like once the fans see the video that we were gonna make with it, it's like, oh my god, it's like on some like Joyner Lucas type shit where it's like so conceptual that it's like it's just gonna blow your mind. You can't like not respect it even if you're not vibing to the record, so to speak. But yeah, I love just the open-endedness and the fact that, you know, I can really draw from my inspirations now and just dive into this world and just like, you know, there's no rules now. It's great.
Yeah. Well, it's cool for the fans to appreciate too, and I'm sure you've conveyed this to them on your own channels, but just when an artist goes independent, like you're going to get to know that artist better than they've ever known you, because you know, the reality is that, like you even alluded to, sometimes you have to put out stuff, you got to play the game sometimes.
Compromise. Yeah, totally, bro.
Yeah, and now it's just totally uncompromised, and if you want to put out a Joyner Lucas style rap song along with a radio friendly pop song, you can do that, and it's going to be the most authentic you.
Totally, bro. And I'm excited to just juxtapose like throughout this whole project and just show the versatility that I can bring, because like not any given record really sounds like another. They all like are held together by my tone. You know, I like to think my voice and my tone is the glue to the whole project. But it showcases like, you know, somebody like X who passed away recently, like he was so versatile in the way he would make like some really in your face like hype shit, and then it would transition into a slow just like singing ballad with just like piano. And I'm like, yeah, like, why put yourself in a box as an artist? You know, that only gives you a certain window of success, and only if you can't innovate, if you can't push the mold, it's like, you know, you can't really move forward as an artist. You can't push yourself, and people will forget about you. You'll just be like an artist who stood in this moment in time, as opposed to somebody who has true longevity and can keep changing and, you know, keep, I guess, adapting to the current world of music.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, couple more, and then we're gonna let you off the hook here, Jack. This comes from Johnson Rhythms. What is one message you would want to give your fans?
Ooh, one message I would want to give my fans. That's a tough one, because I mean, there's a lot of things that I like to preach and whatnot. One message I would like to give my fans. The biggest message is just, to me, it's something that I've really been discovering lately. Is that just, you know, your destiny is really in your own hands. You don't. There might be people that you think you need in life, and you know, like things that you think you need, and like gatekeepers to whatever it is, the job you want to pursue or the career path you want to pursue. And sometimes there are, but if you work hard enough at what you want to do and you really put your best foot forward, and like self-belief has to drive everything you do. You can't have somebody hyping you up and saying, oh, this is what you should do, and then you do it because for their sake. It's like, that's not going to get you anywhere. You have to actually believe in what you're doing. And if people are trying to shoot your shit down and just, you know, tell you that you can't, and you got it, your self-belief has to be bigger than their naysaying, their neglect, so to speak. And so the biggest thing is, you know, yeah, like I said, your destiny is really in your own hands. Take the reins of your own life, and don't let people just take you away from your path, because if there's a path that you want to go down and like people are trying to just like stray you off, people will try to stray you off that no matter what. And so, yeah, to me, it's just a matter of taking your life by the reins and letting your self-belief really drive you, because that's what's going to take you the furthest in life, is you believing in yourself. Nobody will believe in you until you believe in yourself. I promise that.
Yeah. If you want change, you got to do it yourself. You know what I mean?
100%. It's got to start with you, straight up.
All right, final question, and I think this is like a nice one to just wrap up our chat about the new music. This comes from Bekisha Gunn, and what made you decide to pick this song, You Lie, as your first release?
You Lie, well, honestly, I thought, because I had this vision of doing this piano intro for the video the entire time, and I wanted to showcase like every aspect of what I could do, and I wanted it to be like a big song, something that really caught people's ears. Wasn't necessarily just like a lo-fi hip hop, like 120 bars, like no hook type record. And so You Lie, to me, I think it really showcased, you know, with the piano intro in the video, along with the two hip hop verses, then the melodic part at the end, and then I'm doing the harmonies and the final hook. I think it gave people, fans, whether old or new, or people who are just discovering me, I think it gave them a full scope of what I can do, a full range of, you know, my abilities, and especially in the video. And so to me, yeah, it really showcased like everything I can bring to the table. And then there's other songs that, you know, are more like one track state of mind. And so, yeah, this one just felt like it had a conglomeration of everything that I encompass as an artist. And so for that reason, I wanted it to be my first showcase of the world.
It's like the appetizer sampler at the restaurant.
Yeah, exactly. I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. Yeah, exactly, bro.
Totally. Well, Jack, you're always the man, dude. And I always, what I always remembered about being around you back then was your passion. You were so enthusiastic about every question and whatever you were talking about at the time. And I'm glad to see that hasn't faded at all, dude. I wish you the best of luck.
Hey, well, thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on, and to everyone who tuned in, we appreciate you. A lot of stuff around the corner, all right?
Awesome. Peace, dude.
All right, brother. You have a good one. Talk soon.